Hi, we're John and Melanie. So you're wondering how to grow broad beans? Well, in this video we're going to show you how. Hi, we're John, Horsey Horticulture, helping you develop your gardening skills by bringing you weekly tutorials just like this one. So if you're new here, do consider subscribing, and if you'd like to download a free guide to monthly tasks in the garden, the link is in the description below.
Right, so today we're going to be sowing broad beans, perhaps one of the most delicious and healthy of all the vegetables. Traditionally, of course, we always sow broad beans in the spring to flower into fruit and give us a crop during the late spring, early summer. However, you can sow them in the autumn. It doesn't seem a very suitable time to be sowing now, does it, when it's all cold and wet? But they do come through quite well. I remember my father always told me that when you grow broad beans, 1 year in 4 you'll lose them due to the bad weather. I've not found that. Occasionally you'll get hard frost, but generally they do come through. And you know, it's just to say it's perhaps a bit of a risk, but I think the secret is to get the right timing. Now, obviously it'll depend on what part of the country you live in. We're lucky we live down here in Somerset, which is not always as cold as other places. And over the years I've always found the best time to sow them is the 2nd or 3rd week in November. That way they will not get too tall so that they get killed by the autumn frost. Okay, so we do need to get a variety which is hardy and usually quick growing, which will see us through the winter. There are a few varieties, but the well-established one is one called Aquadulce. Sometimes they call it Aquadulce Claudia, but anyway, I've used this for many years. It does well. It's got the RHS recommendation, and so that's the variety we're going to use, so that we'll make sure we get a strong crop which will survive the winter. Right, the site before we start, obviously they're going over winter, so it needs a bit of shelter. Here I'm lucky, I've got a nice surround garden. I've also got a raised bed which will give me drainage, which is very important with winter crops. I have actually dug garden compost in previously, so it's quite well fed, but don't worry too much about fertilizers, because the beans make their own food. They are legumes, they can make their own nitrogen from atmospheric nitrogen. So now we'll make a start at actually sowing the things. Right, we're going to sow the beans at spacings of about 9 inches. That is about 23 centimetres if you want that, and 2 inches deep, which is about 5 centimetres if you work that way. I'm lucky here because I've got a raised bed, and so I can put it close up. I don't need to worry about rows because I can reach as far as I want to go. I'm lucky with this trowel, this little fork, because it's exactly a foot long. So if I want 6 inches, I go halfway. If I want 9 inches, I go 3/4. So if I'm going to start from here, I'm going to put my first seed in just there. I should go down about 2 inches, and in it goes, just one in the hole, 2 inches deep. And then work my way up, another 9 inches, which is there, and that gives me another hole there. So it's a bit wet, but it's still okay. Push it into 2 inches. I'm not actually covering them at the moment, so I want to make sure I know exactly where I put them. So another 9 inches up here, and I've got another plant in there, and it goes 2 inches apart. So I can do that whole row all the way up. What I'll do is just put 4 of them into there, and then I'll sow the other row so that you can see where I am with the camera. So I'm going to come in here and do another row at 9 inches that way, so that goes in like that. In it goes, and because I left the hole there, I can see it is. Put another one in there, and it goes in that way. Put another one in there, and that's the way it goes, right the way up. And I'll carry on like that, right the way up until I've filled up the bed. Nice and easy sowing. Measure it out as you go. And again. Hello little water, you're trying to give me a hand. You're trying to give me a hand. And again there. And again. I'm doing a double row as I go because it's easier. And I can measure it out. That'll be my 9 inches. And up we go, we're almost there now. One more there. one more tonight. You get two more on the end, and that's used most of the seed. Here we go. Quite close to the end there, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay because I shall later on cover those over, and obviously not be watering because the ground's nice and moist. Cover those in. Two things I have to remember. One is that the little voles and mice are all hungry at the moment, and I put a lot of food out for them. So it does help. I shall probably put a bit of fleece or something over here now, just to keep the mice off them until they germinate. Another thing we'll do, and hopefully I can show you that with a video later on, is when these get to a certain size, they'll need some support. So we'll put some sort of canes or some support around them.
Okay, so are there any garden topics you'd like us to video for you? Please let us know in the comments below. And if you've appreciated this video, do subscribe. And if you haven't grabbed your free download yet, the link is in the description below. Until next time, thank you.